Hello, I'm here at St Bartholomew's Tardebigge as we reflect on remembrance. The armistice at the end of World War I sets the date and the time, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The 11th of November is also St Martin's Day. St Martin of Tours, very influential person in his time, 1500 years ago, is the patron saint of France. So you can imagine what an important day this is for France. We have to remember, of course, that in World War I, not a single German soldier entered our country. The same applies to World War II. Other countries had it far, far worse than us. And although we remember the trauma of the Blitz, this is far less traumatic than that which was suffered by the French, who were defeated and occupied. Belgium was overrun, Holland, Denmark, Norway, all occupied. The former Yugoslavia, Albania, and so on. Russia lost millions of people. The Poles lost a sixth of their population. And that's before we talk about the 6 million Jews. Wars and rumors of wars, Jesus told us, must happen. Perhaps it is that we underestimate the depth of human evil. Since the war, we've embraced a philosophy that if only we're nice to each other, we'll be okay, that there's something inherently good in all of us. And this is certainly partially true. Each of us is capable of positive and humanitarian acts of gentle and sensitive conduct. Each of us is capable of loving and of being loved. But we're also capable of many deeply hurtful things. And together, as groups of people, as individuals, as nations, we can seek the harm of others. The 20th century coined that phrase genocide, but it was hardly new. Ethnic wars, national wars, discrimination between people group and people group are pretty much as old as humanity. And so today, there are many manifestations of this across the world, and of course of criminal activity, much of which lies undisclosed except to the eyes of God, who sees everything. There is some justice on this earth. There is total justice in the hereafter. And that's the point we always need to remember, that there is one who judges justly and righteously in all situations, infallibly having seen all, can weigh all, and rule over all. And that is God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And it's in him that we must trust. There is nothing else worth trusting in, and it's all unreliable, temporary. Even the most permanent of political regimes, of empires, of nations can be divided and swept away. So many of the things that seem permanent to one generation dissolve in the next. But God remains the same. He doesn't grow old as we do. He doesn't tire. He doesn't give up. He is patient, he is kind, he is loving, he is compassionate, but he is also just. So as we look at the world today, let us not only seek peace and pursue it, let us not only try to do those things which defend and protect the weak and the vulnerable. But let us also remember that there is a God of justice. And the only way to avoid justice is not to hide things, but to seek God's mercy, which he gives freely to those who want it. It is a sinful world, and there are many dark things. May the Lord grant us grace to identify those things, to avoid them, and to put our trust in Jesus.